Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the SFL podcast presented by 8 p.m. Music. I am your host, Jack Brown, alongside my analysts, Ramos Lynn and Mighty RX. Of course, tonight, folks, it's the SFL semifinals. And before we get into the semifinals, let's take a look back a week and see what happened. First up last week on what seemed to be Saturday night, the Houston Hyenas squashed the Tulsa Desperados 44-24, ending the Desperados' immaculate season right there. And, of course, the Sioux Falls Sparrows beat the Queen City Corsairs in what was an absolute nail-biter for the ages. Then on Monday, the Tallahassee Pride barely escaped against Indianapolis off a walk-off touchdown in overtime to win 30-24. And also escaping a comeback is the Alaska Storm, who beat the Mexico City Aztecs 38-33 in what everybody, for now knows as Dijon Swan's final game. Let's get into some of those matchups that happened back on Monday, or at least let's start with Monday night with, of course, the Tallahassee Pride taking on the here. Okay, so we're actually going to start with the Alaska Storm and Mexico City Aztecs. Mighty, you know what? You came out of this one on top. How do you feel about that?
Woo! As I said, going in last week, it's not that I lack confidence. It's just I know the kind of coach and team Ramos has put together, the kind of players he has, between Ray and yourself, Jack, and the kind of daunting task we had ahead of ourselves. So it's one of those, the only reason we didn't exactly win, y'all just ran out of time. Like literally, y'all ran out of time. Time expired as y'all were trying to clock the ball. So, y'all, the Aztecs started out, early, got a little lead, and then Alaska kind of settled down after run through a couple of picks, including a pick six, and then he started to just being meticulous, spreading the ball to all the receivers, Optimus and Electric, Aggie, Robert Merrill, Jeff Como, Yassine, even the generics got involved a little bit, Stan and Shaba Debo, and Ron's not a respecter of persons. If you're open, he'll throw you the ball no matter who you are. So after he settled down, he was able to take command of the offense, built the Storm a little lead, and then Mexico asked the Mexico City was not to be like, hold up, man, we're not the defending champs for no reason, and so they made it a game. You threw a bomb, I believe it was the beautiful Montague that caught a 66-yard bomb on our star corner Ryan Davidson, and then so the game was a lot closer than the score made it seem. If I could go that route, we're just happy to have survived and advanced, because in the playoffs it ain't about style points. It just have one more point than the opponent, and we're just happy to be able to escape that one with a W.
Yeah. And Ramos, so our team lost in that one. It was a pretty tragic loss. Of course, that was also Dijon Swan's final game. What do you really have to say about this now for your first playoff loss since season 7 or season 8?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I will just piggyback what Mighty said. We started very strong on defense. We got a pick six. We made the game 7-0, and then just after 2 interceptions to begin the game, Ron Cochran settled down and started dinking and dunking to his receivers to the outside, and our corners were just not ready for it. We were expecting more probably deep throws. We were worried about the speed of the Alaska wide receivers. We know that Optimus Klein and those guys, Robert Merrill, can really stretch the field. So we were worried about their speed and their abilities to make big plays. But very, very proud of what we did. We were down at one point of the game, 28-10, and we scored 16 points straight to make it 28-26. Then they scored again to make it 35-26. Then we scored 35-33. They kicked the field goal, 38-33, and that's basically how the game ended. And I just think that Alaska offensively did a great job on just not, after the 2 interceptions, just not risking the football. I think they did a great job of just having Ron Cochran throw short, safe throws. The receivers did a great job. Nordella scored 2 touchdowns, if I remember correctly. So, I spoke about, last week, how Nordellis, even though he's a non-contracted player, he can really make a difference. And this is Alaska's spotlight. I don't want to take the spotlight out, but just to make an live announcement, our free safety, Devin Cabrera, is also retiring from the SFL. He let me know earlier today. As you can see in the picture, there's Devin, number 25. And just like what we did with Dijon Swan, we have decided to retire number 25 from the Mexico City Aztecs. Unless Devin Cabrera returns, nobody else will wear it. I will upload a video to YouTube, to the YouTube account that we have now, just like I did with Dijon, but just basically wanted to make that announcement that we are retiring number 25 as well. And, Devin Cabrera is living pretty good as far as, playing for us now. So yeah, I don't want to take the spotlight out of Alaska. They did a great job winning the game. And, we'll see how they show up against Sioux Falls.
Wow, and who said you never got hot exclusive information here on the SFL podcast right there? So Devin Cabrera, that was also his final game. And now let's go one back to see who the winner of the other game was for this little semifinal showdown. The Sioux Falls Sparrows and Queen City Corsairs. Another quarterfinal game for the ages. Well, they kind of all were, if you think about it. Mighty, what do you have to say about this game looking back at?
This was, early on, both teams kind of felt, was feeling each other out a little bit, 7-up. And then towards the end of that first half, Queen City kind of started asserting themselves. Mike Daggs was becoming a problem for Sioux Falls. But after halftime, Sioux Falls, the adjustments they made to keep Queen City at bay. Not only that triumvirate of linebackers of star linebackers that Sioux Falls had did an admirable job slowing down Queen City's power rushing attack led by Ash Odom. Ash Odom only had 43 yards last week, which is unheard of. Like, we know Ash. When Ash gets that rock and a head of steam, there aren't too many defenders in this league that first want to step in front of him and two have the ability to bring him down. And those guys were able to do it on a regular basis, which forced the hand, A.G. Caswell to have to kind of shoulder the load for Queen City. And he did a really good job in the first half. But in the second half, Sioux Falls kind of asserted their will and kind of found their stride and were able to not only take the lead, but Robert Redford with that big time run late in the game to kind of put the game away for them. That was big. So Sioux Falls, big ups. A lot of homework was done this week. Having to kind of prep for y'all. So, but yeah, congratulations and getting this far, because I know it had been a long time coming for Sioux Falls to kind of get over this hump.
Alrighty, and Ramos, if I remember correctly, you called this game with Alvin Washington. How was that moment really for just throughout the entire game?
It was a roller coaster. There were some points where I was thinking, yeah, Queen City has this in the back, not in the back, but I was like, man, they have the momentum now. And then Sioux Falls had the momentum, and then it just switched back and forth. I was just strange at the last drive. They just took Mike Daggs out of the game completely. He was not there for the last offensive series, the tight end. And Mike Daggs scored 3 touchdowns this game, and he was catching just some unbelievable throws. And he was a huge mismatch, or he was looking to be a huge mismatch in this game against those linebackers. He was in that linebacker to safety area, in between the zone. And, Mike Daggs was putting some work, and at the end, he just was taken out of the game, and A.J. Caswell got sacked a couple times, and it was just ugly that last drive. But, overall, the game was super, super intense. It was super fun. 2 great run defenses. Robert Redford did get that big run, but other than that, Robert Redford didn't do anything for 3 quarters, 3 full quarters. So, any one of the teams that won would have been phenomenal because they played their butt off. But, congratulations to the Sioux Falls Sparrows. It was just really, really intense game. And, happy to see them get their first playoff win of all time.
Alrighty, and now, of course, after that first playoff win from Sioux Falls, we have what's coming up tonight. The Alaska Storm taking on the Sioux Falls Sparrows. Mighty, what's really been your feelings coming into this game?
Having to prep for this game as the owner for the Alaska Storm and head coach. Yeah, there are a couple of nights I went to bed at 3 a.m. I'm not gonna lie. Having to prep for Sioux Falls because they have a very, how can I say this? Their offense is all about execution. You know what they're gonna do, but they do it so sticking well that it's annoying to watch. Like, I don't know if like, let's say we'll take this to basketball terms. We all know Steph loves to shoot the three. So you're like, okay, he loves the three. Why don't defenders stop him from shooting threes? They know he can shoot it well. Well, that's because he does it so well that even if defender is right in his face, he can still make it. Well, guess what? That's the Sioux Falls Sparrows. Like, they like to run these plays, but it's the execution. Kind of like Vince Lombardi used to say, a seal here and a seal there, and right here is the alley. Well, Sioux Falls, they know where the alley's at. They know you're going to be in the alley, so I guess it's going to be an alley fight. And most of the time, they tend to win those. So that's why I had a lot of sleepless nights this week having to prep. But it's going to be a battle of two top 5 offenses. It's going to be a battle as well as 2 top 5 defenses. So these teams that are going to face off tonight are very well-rounded, very similar. Alaska had 20 turnovers. Sioux Falls had 22. Alaska's +1 in turnover margin. Sioux Falls is +2. Like the teams, so Alaska's run game, I believe, was dead last in the league. Sioux Falls' run game was 5th worst. Like, the teams are very, very similar as to what they want to do. They might go about doing it a little differently, but at the end of the day, they look very similar. So I expect a ridiculously close game tonight, the same way I expected a close game last week in one of those last team with the ball. The longest time doesn't expire, it has a chance to win the game kind of deal. So that's my 2 bits on that game there.
Alrighty, and Ramos, you're kind of now on the outside looking in for the playoffs here. What do you really have to say for Alaska going into this in Sioux Falls?
Yeah, as Matty was saying, Sioux Falls is a team that does. You know what they're gonna do. Like the Green Bay Packers did in the '60s. You knew they were gonna run the power play, and it still worked. And they got like 40 yards every time because they just did it so well. Which takes me to the next point, and I think is whoever's in that slot play in that slot, because I think Alaska will be able to contain the number 1 and 2 receivers, even though they're very good. But whoever's in the slot, either it's A.J. Warren or Harrelson or whoever it is, I think that Sioux Falls needs to involve that player more, because that's going to probably be the mismatch going against a non-star player, potentially. So I think it's going to be that. And if Sioux Falls defensively can stop that Optimus Klein and Robert Merrill combo, because they can do the entire route tree. I mean, they can do the corner, the post, they can go deep, they can go short. So I think it's going to be very important for both secondaries to cover those receivers very, very well, because both teams love to pass the football. I don't think we'll have combined between those two teams. I don't think we will have like more than 35 yards rushing. I think it's going to be just completely throwing the ball all game. I think that ultimately Alaska will be able to squeak out this win in a high-scoring game, just like the one with Mexico City was, or the Sioux Falls City game was, probably something like 38-34. But, just very intrigued about this game. Let's see what Alex Dominguez can do, because we know that Sioux Falls likes to throw the ball deep. So if Alex Dominguez can get a sack here and there, just not allow Julian Tyree to, give him enough time to throw the ball deep. I like Alaska's chances.
Alrighty, and now let's head into the next quarterfinal pairing up here. First off, we're going to be starting with Monday and the absolute electric game between Tallahassee and Indianapolis. Of course, ending in overtime with with a walk-off touchdown that came off of the blocked punt. Mighty, this game was right before the Mexico City, Alaska game. How was this, and feeling as if you had to live up to this sort of game?
Watching that game Monday night was interesting. Let me tell you why. You start to see that game, Tallahassee goes down the field, and almost like effortless. They do what Tallahassee does, and then Indy kind of struggles. Then Tallahassee gets the ball back and is able to do what Tallahassee does, tacks on the field goal. So for that whole first half, it was almost like Indy's first time, first time this far in the playoffs. I don't know if the bright lights or the stage kind of was kind of big for them. They faced the San Antonio team last week that was a little listless. So they handled their business there, and I don't know if they understood the how daunting this task of facing this undefeated Pride would be. But coming out of that locker room, it's like someone slapped them in the face and like, wake up, this is it, man. You played this long season, fought this hard to get this far. You can't just lay down. And lay down, they did not. Like, they came out firing in that second half, like double moves and fighting for first down yardage when you're surrounded by the enemy in enemy territory. Like, Matthew Mitchell didn't have many yards rushing, but the yards he had rushing, they were meaningful. Like, there were big time third down conversions where it looked like he was dead to rights, and he was able to just matriculate a first down and give him life to allow for, a new set of downs to happen. And Eli McCormick just lost his mind running double moves against that non-star corner that Tallahassee has. And just like that, who knew? And then Nathan Lee showed some mobility in the pocket off of play action and hit McCormick in stride and was going for like 80. And next thing you know, whoa, we got a ball game. What looked to be a lopsided affair early, Indy was right in it. Like, they pushed this thing to overtime. Indy had a chance at the end of regulation to convert a first down or two and get in range to steal this game. And it looked like all the energy they expended trying to come back, that was where it kind of hit them, where they didn't have enough energy to push them over the hump. And then it was unfortunate, the way overtime played out with that block punt that led to Tallahassee kind of, throwing that walk-off touchdown to Duke 360, in the corner there. But Tallahassee, man, that's what they do. Like, you get close against them. You when you got them down, you got to knock them out. You can't let them hang around, because if you let them hang around, they're like Chucky. You feel me? Like Chucky, you got to get rid of Chucky, because if you let Chucky hang around, he's going to come back and cut your head off. So, congrats to Indy. I know it doesn't feel that way now, but dude, y'all had a heck of a season. Expansion team, you come in there, you get to the quarterfinals, you win your opening round, like, it's something to hang your hat upon. So congrats to Indy. Tallahassee, y'all got more work cut out for y'all. Y'all got y'all got a bunch of angry men in Houston that are coming to town, and they want blood. So Tallahassee, you got more work cut out for you. But hey, big ups on that complete game y'all were able to put together last week.
And Ramos, really, do you have anything to add on to what Mike just said there?
Yeah, and I like that Chucky analogy right there. But yeah, and that's very true. This is a Pride team that is just so clutch. It's like I thought Indianapolis had them. I mean, there was one point where the Indianapolis Red Devils were winning 24-16 with just like 2 minutes left, and just like nothing, boom, boom, boom. Christensen just drives the ball down the field, scores a touchdown, 2-point conversion. They run it, they score on it, and they tie the game. And then in overtime, the block punt, whatever, the walk-off touchdown. But, that's the thing. Like, at the end, Indy, 21-16, had a chance to score another touchdown and end the ball game. And basically, they did the same mistake that we did on not being able, our game against Tallahassee in the second round, of not being able to put the ball in the end zone at the end to basically seal it and win it. But, as Mighty said, congratulations to the Indianapolis Red Devils on a phenomenal season as expansion team going against the veteran team like Frank Gooden's Tallahassee Pride. And, for Tallahassee, congratulations on moving on. This is a team that just wins ball games on, like, whether it's, scoring a touchdown at the end or whatever, they find a way to get it done. And, as Mighty was saying, in the previous game, in the Alaska-Mexico City game, doesn't matter if you win by 1 or by 65. When it's a playoff game, you just want to escape with a victory, survive, and move to the next round. So congratulations to the Pride on that one.
Alrighty, and in the other quarterfinal game of that little pairing, there's another expansion team that lost. The Tulsa Desperados got absolutely bludgeoned by the Houston Hyenas, 44-24. Mighty, what do you have to say about this to your Western Conference foe?
Man, Houston they just came to play. Like, they took an early lead. Tulsa looked like they were gonna make it a game, like, going into halftime. And then their quarterback got way too loose with the football. Sir Charles Robinson, I understand he was going against one of the more stacked secondaries in the league, but one of the calling cards for Tulsa coming into the playoffs was the fact that they didn't turn the ball over and they forced a ton of turnovers. Well, we all know that, that is not a recipe that you can bottle up and bank on a regular basis, that eventually, the law of averages is going to happen and balance out, where all the turnovers you used to have, they will happen to you. And it kind of looked like all of them happened in this game to Tulsa to kind of balance out their plus minus for the season. So, and Houston just capitalized on every last turnover. And Ahmed Chima, man, balled out this game. Like, he was spreading the ball to everybody and anybody that wanted some. You open here. You're not open. I don't care. I'm hot. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he checked. Oh, touchdown. Like, Ahmed Chima came to play. Big ups to Houston, for balling out in that game. Special big up to, I have to, the big uglies. Chad Tackle balled out that game, 2 big-time sacks, which allowed the rest of that D-line to kind of tee off once they started keying and double and triple teaming him. So, Houston, job well done. You got another big test ahead of you this week. Tulsa, another expansion team. Congratulations. Y'all got none to be ashamed of. Y'all had a magnificent first season and something to build upon for next season.
Yeah, almost won the Central there. Ramos, are there any real messages that you have for either Tulsa or Houston going into, for Tulsa, the offseason, and Houston coming into tonight?
Yeah, I was saying last week how, for me, that was Ahmad Chima's game to win or lose, and he won it big time, 4 TDs. He only threw 6 incompletions, just 1 pick. Warren Murray was very effective, and, Mighty loves his big uglies. I love the guys in the secondary, and that linebacking core just played phenomenal. Interceptions. The Hyenas scored 24 points off of turnovers, so that was just so key for this. And, they balled out on every single sense. It was incredible. They just all day running the ball, throwing the ball, stopping the pass. They were on it. Chad Tackle was on it. So congratulations to the Hyenas. And as Mighty was saying, if you're Tulsa, do not be ashamed. 9-3 in your first season is amazing. So next season, best of luck to you. And congratulations to the Hyenas.
Alrighty, and of course now we got to go into tonight's other semifinal matchup involving the winner of those two, Tallahassee and Houston. Mighty, give us something quick about this sort of game, what we can expect.
I had to do some history fact-checking in this one. I felt like I had to go to the Smithsonian. Why? These teams have been around for a minute. They haven't played since a minute. Last time they played was week 2 of season 7. That's when Tallahassee was trying that 2 tight end, 1 receiver build. And that one there, Tallahassee actually eked out a 2013 win. Houston's 2-1 all time, as that was Tallahassee's only win against Houston coming up to that at that time. Houston though is 0-1 in Tallahassee, so they got a tall task ahead of them there. The tale of the tape. Tallahassee, as we all know, number 1 offense in all the land, because that's what they do. Number 1 passing offense, that's what they do. Houston, though, we all know they they have the right man back there, Tony Rock. They have the number 4 rushing offense. Tallahassee's going to have their hands full there. As yes, I understand that their run defense is, there's a big asterisk there. They allow 109 yards per game. A lot of that is because, when scores get lopsided late, teams might want to just run the ball to get out of dodge kind of deal. But, that non-star second level is going to get tested by Houston's run game. Houston, their defense is pretty good. And like I said, they got a stacked secondary to deal with Kenny G and Duke 360. So Christensen, this is not the game where you want to, just toss the pigskin around and throw interception after interception. Houston will turn those picks into scores, which will deem to be problematic when trying to have to mount a comeback. We know Tallahassee, if the game is close in the fourth, they have a great chance of pulling it out. So, but if those turnovers turn into a big hole, we have not seen Tallahassee dig themselves out of a big hole. They've been playing with the lead for most of the season. Tallahassee they got the horseshoe, man. They got the 4-leaf clover. And until someone knocks them off, I have to like them. So give me Tallahassee tonight for the big time win, advancing to the championship game.
Alrighty, and Ronald, give us some really quick and fast about this game. Obviously,
I think I think just same as last week. I think this is a Machima's game. Probably not the game to lose, but a Machima needs to play perfect football to beat the perfect 12-0 Tallahassee Pride. And Blake Chance and Eddie Gage need to help those corners against Kenny G and Duke Wilson. If they can, Houston has a really good shot. But I will go with Tallahassee as well to win this ball game and advance to the SFL championship game.
Alrighty, and before we go, folks, we got some more hot, spicy, exclusive information. These are your expansion applicants for Season 11. First up, San Antonio is actually up in the air right now. That's been voted by ownership, so it's going to be taken up by 4th of these ones. So the current applicants are Mahmoud Aljuni, looking to add on the Kansas City Grizzlies. Crash Combs of the Lobos, looking to add on the Portland Predators. Jeremy Vega, current offensive coordinator for the Vancouver Legion, is looking to add the Denver Nightwings. Old Aaron Arrington is looking to add in the New Orleans Sparrows. Daley Holder, current member of San Antonio, is looking to add on the New York City Lancers. Tim Johnston, a.k.a. TJ, is looking to put the SFL back into Baltimore with the Baltimore Vultures. Ryan Michaels is looking to add in the Washington Flight to the SFL. Ryan Shaw is looking to add in the Columbus Cardinals, putting the SFL in Ohio for the first time since Season 9 with the Cleveland Stallions. And finally, Max Johnson is looking to add in the Las Vegas Fury. Good luck to all those owners. And, of course, good luck to tonight's participants. With that, of course, that wraps up all the fun action that we talk about here at the SFL Podcast. I am your host, Jack Brown, alongside my analyst, Ramos Lynn, and Mighty RX. We say so long, have a great weekend, have a great night of SFL action.